I think that's a good run game is always going to open up a pass game, and I think that's something that we talk about, with like as quarterbacks, but also as an offense in general. It's like when you can run the ball and the defense can't do anything about it, like that puts a lot of stress on a defense coordinator, on the defense as a whole. And then, when you have to start putting extra guys into the box because you can't defend the run game, then that opens up the outside. It creates one-on-ones. It creates your playmakers on the outside, which we have a lot of them, to go out there and to do what they do best. And it creates one-on-one situations, because if a defense is going to be able to sit and drop 8 and cloud all game, it's going to be hard to throw the ball, but you got to take advantage of the run game. And like you said, we have an offensive line that's going to allow us to do that. We have talented running backs, so I'm really excited. I'm really excited for those guys.
Your OC says he'd like to see this team put up 5 touchdowns a game.
Yeah.
Like how high that bar is set for you guys right now, what you got on the field?
Yeah, I love it. I think setting a goal like that is always good. You could kind of quantify it in a way. That's kind of been our goal the first couple of days of practice, like situationally we started in the red zone. Like that was his challenge for us, is like score 5 touchdowns a day. And I think we scored 13 touchdowns through 3 practices, which it's okay. There was definitely a lot of missed opportunities, and I think that we can grow from it and be better. And but I think it's good, set goals and to kind of see where you're at and get engaged.
Brakes, alignments, shocks, exhaust, diagnostics, tires, wheels, and more.
Tire World, we keep your family rolling.
Tire World, locally owned and operated in Murfreesboro, Smyrna, and Laverne.
We're the Good Neighbor Network, FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, audio and video streaming at wgnsradio.com. This is the Roundtable, a look at the news, views, politics, and people that are shaping Rutherford County.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to your Tuesday morning Roundtable show with Rick and Wayne. And Wayne, are we the first Roundtable show getting announced this, Brian? We're the first
yes.
one?
Yeah. The got an award last night for the best local talk show
That's
in the
right.
state.
WGNS, so
Yeah.
we're 5 for 5 last night.
Yeah.
It's amazing, but the Roundtable show being one of them. So I appreciate everybody listening to not only our show, but everybody, all the announcers or commentators we've got for this show. You don't know the history of it. We kind of took over when Truman Jones was here and had his daily show, that 9 and 10 o'clock hour. So that's just something that Scott and Brian and Bart took on, and trying to find somebody to do it. And we all picked a day, and we've been on here a little about 3 years.
3.5 years,
Three and a half years. So we appreciate that. That's amazing here.
Who would have thought, brother?
2 backwoods guys climbing cedar trees from Smyrna, sitting here on the radio station.
I think we both just fell off the turnip truck, is what I think.
I forgot my saw. We got a trophy, but we're going to have to cut it up in 5 parts. And we'll make it 6 so the radio station can keep the top half for all of us.
Hey, since we're congratulations to you, our new commissioner. Again, just so very proud of you. You did a great job when you were commissioner before, and just so proud of your leadership, and thank you for serving, brother.
Well, thank you, buddy. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate all those that sent congratulations and had reached out to me, and the commissioners that entrusted me over the next year to try to take care of District 3 here in Rutherford County. And obviously this show has a whole lot to do with that, because of many of the guests we've got coming on, that I'm been able to stay somewhat versed of what's going on currently with not only our cities but our county government as well. So
you've certainly been engaged, and I've watched that and marveled at with you volunteering for so many boards within the county community. So again, grateful for for your leadership and what you bring to us as well.
Thank you, buddy. I really appreciate it. I've said it to the sheriff and several others. I think there's an invisible line from Davidson to Rutherford County, but it's it's such a change when you come out of Nashville into Rutherford County, and you know, and that's the hardworking people of this county that we've got in public safety and our county government and our city governments that make that happen and make it a county we've got today.
Yes. Wish there's some way we could stop this heat from coming from the west.
Well, like Brian's got it up in our studio right now, and it's always Cannon County's sweet, and we have a person in the studio today is in Cannon County, and I told him I'd like to move up there because I got a lot of friends in that area, and I would be out of the red zone if I was up there right now. But I'll stay in Rutherford County.
There you go. Yeah, we need you, brother.
Yeah.
Rick, our guest today is an icon. I've listened to him. I've watched him on TV. I've read the magazine for years and years, and anything I wanted to know about high school football in the state of Tennessee, I look no further than Murphy Fair, and we are so privileged to have Mr. Fair this morning. Murphy, welcome. Thank you for being with us.
Well, thank you for the invitation, Wayne. It's I've sat in this chair with with 2 or 3 other people for a long, long time, and it's always good to be on your good neighbor station.
Well, I think Tim Tackett's a good buddy of yours and mine, and would the other person be Jeff Jordan?
Probably so. As a matter of fact, in the very, very early years, early 90s of my magazine, the two of them had a local sports talk show. I was living in Smith County, and they on a regular basis would invite me to come over here. And of course, that is where Gary Rankin was from.
Yes,
was Carthage. As a matter of fact, one of his brothers lived right across the street from me when I was living over there. But
wow.
We always had a good time talking high school football, and this whole thing this guruism, if you want to call it that, was just blind luck. I started this as a hobby, just because I wasn't at the newspaper in Carthage anymore. I had left that to work at a savings and loan and run a local office, and I was never so bored in my life. And so I still wanted to go to high school football games. Sure. And had a coach in Smith County he was at Gordonsville actually, and had been coaching in Texas, and that's where the Dave Campbell book has been for decades. And he kept saying, you know, you could do that here. So I decided that I'd give it a shot. And that first year, the first 3 or 4 years, it had been a mid-state book exclusively. Didn't have to go to Kingsport, didn't have to go to Memphis, but the book kept growing. I'd add a few more districts each year, and it finally got to the point to where I had to, you know, cut or get off the tractor or something, you know, whatever. But anyway, that was also when the savings and loan industry kind of started going bottom up, and consequently the office that I worked at was closed, and the people were terribly nice. Security Federal Savings and Loan is what it was called, and they were very. They felt really bad about having to let me go. They really made me feel good. They had no idea how good I felt when they said we're going to close this office. But they gave me some severance pay, and it bought me some time to see if I could make this thing work. And that was about 38 or 39 years ago.
Wow.
I did the magazine for 34 years. And consider myself still to be one of the most blessed people in Tennessee to have known 500 head football coaches. And I still have their numbers in my phone. And quite often I'll get a call from a coach. Do you have Coach so-and-so's phone number? You know, kind of thing.
Matter of fact, I do.
Yeah, I think so. Let me look and see. So, you know, and I consider most of those guys why Tennessee is such a great place. Because from my eyes anyway, parents are not teaching 14, 15, 16-year-old boys the difference between right and wrong. but coaches are, and they'll make good citizens out of those people when they become husbands and dads and that sort of thing, and to still be on a first name basis with all those guys, it's pretty special.
It's really special. You surprised me when you came in here, because I think you would have 2 phones, because I would think you're just one of the most sought after guys in high school, especially this time of year, you know.
Yeah. It's I've already and I guess probably the main reason I decided to let first I thought 34 years, that's long enough to be doing what you're doing, but I've got a grandson in West Tennessee that's crazy athletic, and so is his sister.
Yeah.
And he'll be a senior at Adamsville. And they were in a jamboree last week, and they were the last game, and they were playing USJ, the private school in Jackson, and they only had 5 minutes to play, and then it started lightning.
Oh, bless him.
But 5 minutes was all he needed to score a touchdown.
Well, congratulations.
Caught a pass, and they won 6-0. So it's and his little sister was one of only 2 freshmen on the softball team, and she started every game
as a freshman.
Oh, wow.
And won the Most Improved Player award. So I got plenty of reason to go to Adamsville on a pretty regular basis.
So were you an athlete growing up?
No.
Obviously, you've got these grandkids that are marvelous athletes. So
No,
where does it come from?
Well, I don't know. They, but I always loved the game.
Yeah.
And went through junior high and high school on the Navajo Indian Reservation, and the schools were, for the most part, 200 miles apart. Every school on the reservation, you remember those old Greyhound Scenic Cruiser buses?
Oh, yes, sir.
Double deck almost?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Every school on the reservation had one. And I thought, well, I'm not going to get to go to the games because I can't play, but I can keep stats. I can write stories. In my senior year in high school out there, I was writing for 3 newspapers.
As a senior?
As a senior in high school.
Wow.
Just promoting our kids and my classmates. And I was editor of my high school paper. I was editor of my paper at UT Martin. It was just ink, I guess, was in my blood, as they say. And just always been around the ballpark.
So how many programs did you in the magazine? How many programs did you have to keep up with?
Well, there's 350 some odd high schools in Tennessee that play football.
Okay.
There's about 400 plus high schools that play basketball or baseball or something that doesn't cost as much, and you don't need as many boys.
Sure.
And I usually had about 85% of those coaches would return a survey that allowed me to write a story.
Okay.
And I always made sure that I didn't put words in their mouth. If Billy Smith was not on that list that I got back from the coach, Billy wasn't in the magazine, because I had to worry about that coach not filling out one of those next year. So I didn't cross that line. I had relatives upset with me because I didn't mention their kids. But if it wasn't mentioned by the coach, I wasn't gonna put words in the coach's mouth.
And that's really hard, you as a reporter, because I grew up obviously in law enforcement and still today dealing with the media and making sure, one, you get to them what you need, and 2, them reporting it out there. So
Sure.
that trust relationship is a huge thing.
And you don't want to mess it up. It takes a while to build it. You know, they didn't. Most of them didn't know me from Adam, and who's this guy wanting to find out stuff, and he's 300 miles from where I am. You know, nobody's going to read that magazine. But in July, when I got the magazines back from the printer and pulled up at the locker room or field house, the players were running out there wanting to see one of those magazines to see if their name was going to be in it, you know.
No doubt.
Because I sold most of my magazines through booster clubs as a fundraiser. I can wholesale it to them, and they can make a little money. Although I had a lot of bookstores. When we used to have bookstores, there's not nearly as many as there used to be. They kind of all went by the wayside because of the internet. But yeah, the kids enjoy it, and I still I still will walk into a place I hadn't been before, and somebody will recognize me, and they'll say, back in 2003, you wrote about me in the magazine. So I think a lot of the dads use the magazine to show their son, see, there's my name in this old magazine. I played pretty good football too. So
Sure.
I might be a victim of that.
You think?
So, as far as all those years of the magazine, do you have copies or a copy of every?
I do, and my wife keeps on to me about you need to put that on the internet and let people know you still have 20 copies of every year. If they want to purchase a copy because their booster club didn't sell the magazines that year or whatever the case may have been. So
I would think a library would love to get a hold of a copy of the last.
Probably so. There were a few that did that from time to time, but I don't know. Maybe they figured the books would disappear from the library, So
Good point.
I don't know.
How did the internet, so with 34 years and the internet coming on, how did that change the way you did things, or did it? You just kept...
It made it a whole lot easier because we could do it all online, and now with postage stamps costing 75 cents a piece, just to send 350 letters out to coaches, that and usually I'd have to send that out sometimes a third or a fourth time to get them to respond. It just made things so much easier. And it was easier on the coaches too. They didn't have to worry about me calling them when they were in the classroom. They just knew to go to their texts or go to their email, and it made life so much easier for me. When I would go to the printer with the finished product, all I had in my hand was a disc, like kids play music on, and I'd say, "Here's the magazine." And we were using the same software, and so consequently they had all they needed on their end of the equation to make it work.
How many did you normally print?
I'd usually print right at 5,000 copies.
Wow.
And the early years, that first year, I had no idea, and I think I printed 10,000 copies and threw 8,000 away. And I thought, I am never going to do this again, So then I started contacting booster clubs, and like I said, I gave them an opportunity to make $3 or $4 on each copy. So I knew exactly, basically, when I'd go to the printer, every magazine that was printed was already sold. So I'd usually maybe print an extra 200 magazines or whatever to give to the coaches for their work, sending me what I needed to write about them. But for the most part, I didn't have to worry about a whole lot of books going to the dump.
I would think that whoever won the state championships for the different divisions would love to have, all the players would love to have a copy of your magazine just as a memorabilia for that year, I would have.
It was always a major question mark for me to put, what am I going to put on this year's cover? I started by putting the helmets, pictures of the helmets of the winning champions the previous fall, and then I started putting coaches on the cover. But then there got to be so many different classifications, it was virtually impossible, because I tried to make a group shot of those guys, and to get those 9 people from one end of the state to the other together at the same place. I did that for 4 or 5 years, and we made the picture at MTSU because that's where the games were being played. But all too often, whoever the inner city champion was in Memphis, that guy never would show up.
Right.
Or the same in Chattanooga or whatever the case. So then I started putting the Guru's Dandy Dozen on the cover of the 12 of who I thought were 12 of the best senior football players in the state, and that generally worked pretty well. That's what I did the last probably 15 years of the magazine was put individual kids, and I'd go out. I could have solicited somebody else in Chattanooga to make a picture of that Macaulay kid, but I wanted to meet that kid and talk to him a little bit and find out, okay, you're a great athlete, but what kind of person are you?
Yes.
And if they were a jerk, I probably didn't put their picture on the cover. Because to me, that's what football is all about, is to teach life lessons.
You're exactly right.
That young men don't get all too often anymore, like they did when we were
Right.
15, 16-year-old guys. And you'd be surprised how many of those kids that were on the cover were not only great football players, but they were great citizens. They were involved in this volunteer club and this project, and straight A students, and because football's not for dumb guys anymore. It's so complicated.
Right.
But these 12 guys were really special people.
I think you're right about that. Those ones that, I just think of us being around Smyrna and Rutherford County and some of these great athletes that we've got that's going on and play in the pros and things like that. They were, there's something special about those guys. They're just not your everyday individuals. They do. There's something about them. They got that it factor, I guess is what you could call it.
And they let me know really quick, because they were yes or no sir guys.
Yes,
they
sir.
weren't just giving you a hard time. They were well groomed, well spoken kids that I dearly love bragging about.
No doubt. You're listening to Murphy Fair this morning on WGNS, the Roundtable Show with Rick and Wayne. We'll take our first break and be right back with you in just a minute.
For 75 years, Murfreesboro Medical Clinic has been a cornerstone of health and compassion in our community. From our humble beginnings to the advanced, comprehensive care we offer today, our commitment to you has never wavered. With 8 locations across Murfreesboro and Middle Tennessee and over 100 physicians, we continue to provide the highest standard of care. Then, now, and always, your health is our mission.
Get ready for an unforgettable night and support First Shot. Autumn at the Alley is coming to Oakland's Mansion Tuesday, September 24th from 6 to 9 p.m. Sip on fine bourbon, wine, and spirits, enjoy premium cigars, and feast on incredible food from the Alley on Main, all while enjoying live music under the stars. Proceeds benefit First Shot's Academic All-Stars and Send a Kid to Camp programs. Find out more on their Facebook page and through Eventbrite. Autumn at the Alley, September 24th.
Insurance should be simple, not complicated. That's why at Rayburn Insurance, Agent Rick Hull cuts through the jargon and helps you understand your options clearly. He's committed to finding the right coverage that fits your unique needs and budget. Their team has been a trusted partner in the community since 1973. Ready to make insurance easy? Get with Rick Hall at Rayburn Insurance Agency. He's ready to help you get the protection you deserve.
Tire World in Murfreesboro, Smyrna, and Laverne is holding their All Tires at Cost sale this week only, Monday through Saturday.
At Tire World, we keep your family rolling.
The deals and those tires at cost roll away. Literally, roll away. Do they really roll away?
Every mile, every morning, at Tire World, we keep your family rolling.
Good Neighbor Events is brought to you by Old National Bank, the law offices of John Day, and AmeriCare Pest Control.
This is a paid legal ad.
At the law offices of John Day, we take only real cases that make a real difference.
Dear John, I want you to know that I appreciate everything you have done so much. I know you went over and beyond, and that's why I just think the world of you. Thank you. Robert K.
My pleasure, Robert. If you're ever injured, know that we are here for you, too. Call the law offices of John Day for a free consultation. And remember, there's no fee unless we win your case. Seriously injured? Call me, John Day.
Thank you for making WGNS a part of your family for over 78 years. The Red Cross is still critically low on blood. Phone the Red Cross at 800-RED-CROSS and make an appointment to give the gift of life at a time that fits your schedule. The popular Cookin' to Build is just around the corner. It'll be up on the Murfreesboro Square on Saturday, November 1st. But right now, until October 15th, you can paint your Habitat for Humanity Cookin' to Build bowl. Make it a family tradition. Head over to Color Me Mine in the Avenue of Murfreesboro now through October 15th and paint your bowl for Cookin' to Build. You've heard us talking about how Greenhouse Ministries helps so many. Maybe you'd like to be a volunteer at Greenhouse Ministries. There's a volunteer orientation every Thursday morning at 10, and that's at Greenhouse Ministries, 307 South Academy Street, here in Murfreesboro. Thursday mornings at 10. Those are WGNS Good Neighbor events.
Rutherford weather.
A heat advisory is in effect for the forecast area.
When the weather turns bad, minutes, even seconds matter.
This is an early heads up.
Low of 73. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Vuchitsky on News Radio WGNS. Currently, it's 76.
WGNS is powered by Middle Tennessee Electric. MTE has a solar expert and energy services supervisor to help its members understand if solar is right for them and help members avoid possible scams from outside parties. Learn more at mte.com/prosolar.
This is the Roundtable from News Radio WGNS on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna. Listen and watch at wgnsradio.com.
And good morning and welcome back to the second segment of Tuesday Mornings with Rick and Wayne. And this morning we have an icon of high school football. Matter of fact, I think we might have just call him the GOAT of high school football, Mr. Murphy Fair.
Everybody knows what a GOAT is. They don't all know what a guru is, do they?
Yeah. Well, I'd say, I don't know, as far as guru, I'd put quite a bit of good. Okay, we'll just call it another show, I guess. Guru, I guess, just has a lot of prominence in the name, I suspect.
It's been several years, obviously, but Maurice Fitzgerald, who coached Pearl Cone to its first 2 state championships in the late 90s, he and I were on a radio show one morning in Nashville, and somebody called in and asked a question of Maurice, and he said, "I'm not real sure, but he said the guru is here." And that's the first time I'd ever been called that, but it stuck. And now my license plate says FB Guru. Every once in a while somebody will come up and say, "Oh, is that Facebook?" I said, "No, it's football." So I've got a little football in the middle on my plate. But I owe all that to Maurice. What a great guy. And he was coaching until 2 or 3 years ago at Hillsboro. And he kind of got away from that on Friday nights, but he does so much for so many inner city kids in Nashville.
Right.
And to have gotten that title, if you will, from him, really pleases me a lot because of where it came from, kind of thing.
So with you doing the magazine, after the magazine's published, you distribute it or in the process of distributing, how many high school games did you normally get to see through the course of a season?
Usually 20 or 30. But the year after my son graduated from Smith County High School, I decided I would see just how many teams I could see in one season. So I started the week of the Jamboree. My wife and I went to East Tennessee, up in the Tri-Cities area, spent the night because there was a 10 or 12 team Jamboree at Sullivan South. And then the next night, at another school up there were 10 or 12 more schools. that were playing in that. So after the Jamboree week, I'd already seen 20 some odd teams. So I just kept trying to go to two or three games a night. I'd go to one before it started. After the first quarter, I'd pick a school that was relatively close, and I could still get to a third school by the fourth quarter.
Wow.
And then, obviously, I was at all five state championship games. But I thought it was very ironic in that I graduated from high school in '68. My son's number in high school was 68. And I saw 68 different high school football teams play that season.
Okay.
So, but right now I'll rarely stay more than halftime at a game. I'm getting a little bit older, and August is too hot to play football. I'm telling you, it just is. And even if you're just standing there watching, the sweat just rolls off of you. And but I still try and get out and see as many as I can. And now there's a lot of games on TV on a regular basis. So even if it's a nasty night, raining, terrible temperature, I can still watch a couple of games on TV.
I think that with the boom of internet, it's like I was talking to the Smyrna principal, and you can pretty much through Huddle this year, you can subscribe and you can watch. If you can't be to the games, they have literally drones that fly over the field, and you can be able to watch it live from home, and you can swap between games if you want to watch somebody else. So,
and the National High School Football Association has there's probably 100 schools that are internet broadcasting their games, and if you're a bona fide member of the media, you can get a reduced rate. And there's 100 football games to choose from. You can sit right there on with your laptop or whatever and watch 12 or 15 games if you want to.
And I did not know at Smyrna High School, I kept seeing the drones above the field, and I thought, is this some kid just trying to be...
Well, sure, the kids are the only ones that can run those things.
Yeah, and that's true too. But after Dr. Sullivan, they're you're watching the game.
Yeah, and plus the teams can now have footage. TV sets on the side like you would think in the NFL.
Oh, absolutely.
They're sitting there with 65-inch TVs under a tent and showing these, the linemen and defensive linemen of lineups and what they're seeing, and just amazing,
What do you think Vince Lombardi would think about that?
Oh, man. Gosh. Well, I just think of the chalk days,
Absolutely. Yeah.
How far we've come from having a piece of chalk on the side of the field to what they got now. It's
Absolutely.
just amazing.
So with all the games that you've seen and all the coaches you've known and all the players you've talked to, no, I'm not going to go there.
Okay.
No, I'm not going to go. I'm not going to go there. Do you think you could, if you were an offensive coordinator or something like that, do you think you with all that you've experienced over the years, do you think you could call plays?
No.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It's a complicated game now, and I live in Cannon County, and they've got a really good coach that I like a lot. I interviewed him last night. They run the no huddle offense.
Wow.
They sometimes have 5 people in the pattern, and the kids absolutely love it. They love it. And he told me in the interview, he said, most of my skill position players know the offense better than the assistant coaches because they're playing it at home on video games and that kind of thing, I guess. But that's what makes it so exciting. We've had 3 scrimmages, and in the past, Cannon County, I think, has only been to the playoffs 3 times. Ever. One of those was last year. Got a lot of kids back. And we've had 3 scrimmages, I won't say against 2, but respectable teams, and nobody's scored on us yet.
Wow.
Yet we've scored 4, 5, 6 touchdowns because there's so many guys eligible downfield. The opposition can't figure out how to defend this.
That's the air raid offense.
It is.
Isn't it?
It is. Yeah. And it always impresses me, whether it's Cannon County, Warren County, Oakland, Riverdale, whether you've got an incredible program that's got a lot of gold trophies in the trophy case, or you've only been to the playoffs 3 times, the stands are still full.
Yeah.
And that warms my heart.
Well, coming to the Smyrna games, I'm kind of in awe of all of us that have gone there over the years, and there's so many of us older fans that are there now still.
Oh yeah, they don't have all these people I'm talking about. They don't have a grandson or a great grandson out there, but they wore that uniform,
right?
And they want to still be a part of it. When you go to Hartsville on Friday night, it's the best place to go to watch a high school football game. And I tell people all the time, if every community, regardless of the population, would buy on a per capita basis as many books as I sold in Hartsville, I could have retired 20 years ago, because I'd sell 75, 80 magazines in a town of maybe 2,000 people. But they all couldn't wait. And that's why I always enjoyed going to Hartsville so much.
We used to laugh and said that the only reason Hartsville had a basketball team is the coach used that to keep his guys in shape until football came.
It was something
around.
to do until football rolled around. That's right. And there are still guys that played in the 60s that still wear their jersey. It's got holes here and rips there, but they still wear it to the Friday night game.
That's just a part of it. I mean, Wayne graduated in 72. I graduated in 89, but we are able to go back, and me as growing up close to the football field and being able to watch those guys, and when those guys come back for class reunions or just there for Friday night, we always put them on a pedestal, and we get to visit and see them, and it's real time. They might have played 20 years ago, but I still have them on that pedestal.
One of my favorite coaches, who is now retired, Jeff Porter at White House, he always had his senior football players member of the BDP club, Blue Devil Pride, and those BDP guys would go to the White House Elementary School on game day and read to those kids.
Wow, that's amazing.
As amazing as that sounds, he used that as his discipline thing. If they got out of line, they didn't get to go read to those kids. And he said, I never had to discipline any of those kids if I was going to take that away from them. And those kids, 6, 7, 8-year-old kids, couldn't wait to Friday night. They wanted to go to the ball games because they wanted 10 years later to be one of those guys out there on the field. And I just thought that was so many things like that coaches do that a lot of people don't really know that exists. But I thought that BDP club was pretty special in how it worked.
No doubt.
It is amazing. So Murphy, obviously our show's a little bit different. We talk a lot more personal, so people get to know you. So in the off season, and you really don't have an off season, because by the time you get your book out, you're already planning for the next year.
True.
Were you part of like the Tennessean, or who were you employed, or is it always just for yourself? Because I know I can think of the Rudy Kalis and the Mark Howard. You were always on there on Friday nights, and Rudy be flying around on his helicopter, and
Rudy let me fly with him.
Yeah, you would always find you at one of them games with him. So
I'll tell you my one time with Rudy, and I love that guy. He is such a good person. But the helicopter usually took off at Channel 4 out on the west side of Nashville. But on this night, we had a pilot, we had me, we had a cameraman, and we had somebody else too. There was 4 of us on the helicopter, and it couldn't do a vertical takeoff. So we had to meet at that Toon Airport out on the west side of Nashville so it could take off like an airplane. We had so much weight in there.
What a great story.
So, you hadn't heard the best part.
Yeah, you had the little chopper.
Out there, they conducted a little 2-minute deal where the pilot and Rudy was the fourth guy in there. I forgot that. But anyway, he and the pilot were arguing who was going to pilot the helicopter that night. So we get in the helicopter and we take off, and we fly over Channel 4. And I'm up front, and Rudy says, reach down under the seat. There's a roll of toilet paper down there. And I do. He said, I want you to wrap this whole roll of toilet paper around this 8-track camera footage that we have.
Oh, you're kidding me.
And then we're going to fly over Channel 4's parking lot. And I want you to throw it out or he said he was going to throw it out the window, but I want you to tell me where it landed. So I did, and I said, it's behind that red pickup truck. So he's on the phone calling someone in the studio to go out there and find that footage behind that red pickup truck, run it back inside, put it in a 8-track recorder thing, and they played it on the 6 o'clock news because they couldn't land out there. We had too much weight, and they played that as a teaser for football games that night.
That is the best story.
But that was just one of the things. And I've even forgotten my train of thought about what we were talking about.
No, it's fine. We're up against another break here, but anyways. But you're listening to Tuesday Morning Roundtable Show with Rick and Wayne, and we got Murphy Fair. He was the author for 34 years of the Tennessee High School Football Magazine. But we'll take our second break. Be right back with you in just a minute.
For 75 years, Murfreesboro Medical Clinic has been a cornerstone of health and compassion in our community. From our humble beginnings to the advanced, comprehensive care we offer today, our commitment to you has never wavered. With 8 locations across Murfreesboro and Middle Tennessee and over 100 physicians, we continue to provide the highest standard of care. Then, now, and always, your health is our mission.
Get ready for an unforgettable night and support First Shot. Autumn at the Alley is coming to Oakland's Mansion Tuesday, September 24th from 6 to 9 p.m. Sip on fine bourbon, wine, and spirits, enjoy premium cigars, and feast on incredible food from the Alley on Main, all while enjoying live music under the stars. Proceeds benefit First Shot's Academic All-Stars and Send the Kid to Camp programs. Find out more on their Facebook page and through Eventbrite. Autumn at the Alley, September 24th.
Weather turns bad, minutes, even seconds matter.
This is an early heads up for southern Rutherford County.
Rutherford Weather brings you live radar and expert meteorologist insight, giving you the early heads up when storms threaten.
A lot of areas are going to see some impacts from this storm.
From analysis to live camera views, we keep you informed before, during, and after the storm.
I think the vast majority of the hail with this now is going to be quarter to perhaps golf ball size.
Rutherford Weather. Stay ahead of the storm.
In retirement, it's all about income. Your money, making money, and you're not spending down your principal. That's the way we do it at Retirement Income Solutions. So if you're spending down your principal or your money's not making money, keeping you ahead of inflation, check us out today at risolutions.net, risolutions.net, and make sure to join us Saturdays at noon and Sunday afternoons at 1 for Retirement Income Solutions Radio with Nathan Cox and Lindsay Cotter.
This is Kim Dunaway from Sunshine Nutrition Center. You hear me on Monday mornings at 7:20 talking about how to lead a healthier lifestyle. We carry supplements, personal care, and grocery items at both our Murfreesboro and Smyrna locations, family owned and operated since 1989.
This is Hannah Bleem here at the Rutherford County Farmers Market. This year, the Farmers Market is celebrating 50 years of being open, and we're here to talk to different vendors today.
Howdy, y'all. My name's Bob Starr. I own and operate Pilgrimage Farm in Lewisburg, Tennessee. I've been in business for 8 years. I am a mushroom and specialty produce farm that also does wild foraged food. So I'm set up here at Rutherford County Farmers Market Tuesdays and Fridays, and if you've got something interesting on your menu, come on out and see what's wild. My name's Bob Starr. I own and operate Pilgrimage Farm in Lewisburg, Tennessee. I am a mushroom and specialty produce farm that also does wild foraged food.
Thank you so much. The Rutherford County Farmers Market is open on Tuesdays and Fridays from 7 a.m. to 12 p.m. at 315 John R. Rice Boulevard in Murfreesboro until October 31st. This year, the Farmers Market is celebrating 50 years of being open. Hannah Bleem here at the Rutherford County Farmers Market.
This is the Roundtable from News Radio WGNS on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna. Listen and watch at wgnsradio.com.
And welcome back to the third and final segment of Tuesday Mornings with Rick and Wayne. And Rick and I really enjoyed having the high school football guru, Murphy Fair, with us this morning. And
well, I've had as good a time as you all have, just telling the stories and laughing about high school football and the coaches.
You've been a pleasure, sir. That's all I can say. Hey, do you want to talk a little bit about some of the regions, or maybe our region in particular?
One reason that I brought this, one reason that I created this, is because, number one, we've got too many classifications, but that has created so many regions. We've got 6 classes of public school football, 9 regions per class. That's 54. And see, I still remember math. That was my best class.
Can't spell math, but I remember it.
So there you go. But and the way Tennessee has become a destination for people from one ocean to the other. My wife is a switchboard operator at City Hall here in Murfreesboro, and when COVID hit, on a regular basis, she would get easily 10 or more calls a day for weeks from people all over the country, primarily California, because California had quit high school sports, period.
Sure. Yes, sir.
And all of those people that had senior sons that were being recruited, all of a sudden their senior year, they weren't going to be seen by anybody because they weren't going to play ball. So my wife would get calls from people saying, why should we move to Murfreesboro, Tennessee? Because they'd read about, Lord knows where they'd read it or what they read, but it was a destination place that they wanted to come to.
Wow.
And I'm sure Williamson County was the same way. But I've talked to coaches all over the state, and they tell me the same thing. Yeah, we got 2 more kids from California this week or whatever. And then the private schools, Baylor and Macaulay, last year, each one of them had at least 12 players on their team from Canada, because they don't have high school sports up there. They have club sports. And this was an opportunity for those kids to showcase their talent and play college football here in the United States somewhere. So it's just trying to remember who's in what classification and how those classifications are put together. And a lot of people complain about, why are we having to travel 150 miles for a ball game? Well, it's because there's not a whole lot of teams, schools, your size within 30 miles of here. That may not be the case here in Middle Tennessee, because it seems to be where everyone's gravitating to, but a lot of places. One reason Howard High School this year is playing a non-regional schedule is because they're the only 6A school in Chattanooga, and they were going to have to go to Knoxville every other week to play a football game. And that's an inner city school that just can't afford to make trips like that. So it's really hard to. I used to think it was very easy to put these regions together. It's not. Those guys at TSSAA are to be commended how they do that. And I know a lot of people are moaning and groaning about why we're in this region with this school or whatever. But a lot of it's just hard to put at least 4 schools. They'd prefer to have 6 schools in every region, but it just doesn't work that way. And unfortunately, a lot of those schools that only have 120 or 30 students, they're playing 1A football, but they've got to go over 100 miles 2 or 3 times a season just to find somebody to play that's close to their size.
I'm shocked that there's only one 6A high school in Chattanooga.
That's because they've got either too many schools or too many are being recruited by Baylor and Macaulay.
Right.
Boyd Buchanan, schools like that.
Wow. That's why you're the guru, because I sure as heck didn't know that.
Numbers always fascinate me anyway, and if there's something about that I can talk about regarding numbers, that's kind of the direction I'll go.
So talking Rutherford County, that Region 3 6A that we're in, what's your forecast for the teams that we've got? Have you been able to talk to anybody, or what's your gut?
Oakland,
and all the coaches are listening. So
Oakland's the defending champ. They're going to be good. Riverdale's going to be good. Blackman's going to be good. And there's going to be some really good 6-4 teams that don't get to go to
don't
the
go
playoffs.
Anywhere. You're right.
And that's I wish somehow all of this could change and we could bring back bowl games. I know it's only one more game instead of playing 5 more games, but I'm not real sure that playing 15 games a year is good for a 16, 17-year-old kid. Yeah. They're going to get hurt. They're going to get hurt bad because they've been running into concrete walls for 3 months, 4 months. Yeah. But that'll never change, because once you've got 9 state champions, who wants to not allow those kids that normally wouldn't get to play on a team that won a state championship, the experience and everything that goes along with a state championship? You know, a lot of kids want to come to Oakland, and they know they'll probably never get on the field. But if Oakland wins the state championship, they're going to get a ring.
Yes, sir.
And that's no kick on Oakland. That takes place at Houston. That takes place at all those other schools that have won state championships in a regular basis.
What's neat for us is this is the first year in several years that all the 6A Rutherford County teams have been in the same region together.
They didn't have to worry about getting a schedule this year. Because they only had to get maybe two games outside the region.
I guess so. But the draw is going to be big. Tickets going to be be big.
People are going to be getting there earlier because the stands will be packed. You're talking about those stands. Those stands are going to be packed.
If they want to make a little extra money, charge a couple of bucks for parking.
Absolutely. It wouldn't surprise me, because they're getting short on acreage. There's not a whole lot of space left, and it wouldn't surprise me if in the not too distant future, as many churches as there are around so many schools here, they'll be running shuttle buses to high school football games where you can park at a school 3 miles away or whatever.
I can see that as well. Yes, sir. Is there a memorable experience that you could share with us? I know you have a bunch, but is there one thing that kind of sticks out that you would, like the listening audience to know?
I have been very blessed, and I have people ask me about this every once in a while, because I'm always on the sideline. I can't remember the last time I watched a ball game from the stands. I'm serious. And I'll have my camera around my neck, whether I take a picture or not. That just makes it a little more legal, I guess. But I have been so blessed to not get run over until 2 years ago.
Oh.
And it happened twice. The first one was at it was at Marshall County. They were playing Shelbyville, and this running back was coming toward me, and I thought, boy, this is going to be a great shot. And he never did cut. He was running right down the sideline, and I was closer than I should have been. You're supposed to be, they've now got chalk marks that even photographers are supposed to be behind that line so that the official has a route to run and not have to worry about running over someone. And when I finally realized you got to get out of here. There was nowhere to go. There were people on both sides of me and behind me, and I got clobbered.
Oh.
And we're on the radio, but this right here, this white spot on my elbow, the skin was just gone. I got knocked to the ground, and I'm still not sure if it was the turf or if it was something on the uniform, but I was bleeding like the proverbial stuck hog. And the first person I looked for was the trainer or one of those medical people on the sideline, and they got me bandaged up. I was down on the ground. I couldn't find my camera anywhere, and people were saying, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And what am I going to say? No, I hurt. I said, "Oh, I'm fine. I'm fine." And blood was just dripping off of my arm. And that mark is still on my elbow.
As we can see, we're witnesses to that.
I have to remind the coach Osteen at Marshall County. I said, "I got this on your field right here." And then 3 weeks later, I was in Carthage, where my kids grew up, and I got hammered there too, but not nearly so bad as I was. But I'm a little more cautious on the sideline now that I'm in my 70s. I can't, not that I could move a lot quicker 30 years ago, but I have slowed down, obviously.
I don't think I would like to take that kind of hit at my age as well.
But it's the best place to be, and all too often, people that know I'm on the sideline think I'm there because I want the best seat in the house. But all too often, I'm watching the coach and the kids interact and see how many of the coaches have to use profanity to get a point across, when the most memorable thing I can remember was a coach in Chattanooga. This one particular player kept missing up every time they had the football, and the coach just went over and kept putting his arm around that kid and letting him know, "Hey, it's okay. Here's what you're doing wrong." He never raised his voice, and the kid finally got it. And I thought, wouldn't it be great if every coach could coach that way? And I understand they still do it at the NFL level, but you don't have those kids get drilled so many times by so many people, and that's why so many coaches are coaches, because a coach put his arm around him when he was 15 and told him, "You're okay. You're going to be okay."
You're right, and we all had growing up. I know me. I can name 2 or 3 guys that were instrumental in my life growing up and they were my coaches.
Sure.
I mean, I had great parents and awesome father, but I had some coaches I really looked up to. Some would spit and yell at you, and some would put their arm around you at the same time. But there was a fear, but there was a lot of respect.
Respect too. That's right.
Well, just having the opportunity to play team sports with the coaches and the teammates, and the social aspect of being a teammate.
Sure. The coaches tell me still to this day, their greatest thrill is not necessarily winning a state championship. It's a guy who's now 35 years old, who played for him, who comes back and says, "Thanks, Coach."
Exactly.
Well, I get to see every Sunday at church one of my former football coaches, and when I got to introduce my grandchildren to him, was not only a thrill for me, but I think it was a thrill for him as well.
Sure it is.
So,
sure it is.
But yeah, that is way cool.
So was Bud Rakes put your arm around a guy, or is it a yeller?
I
can attest.
He got his point across, but I think there were some times when he lost it a little bit. I think the world of him.
I do too.
Amen.
Very much so.
Amen. I tell you what, this has just been such a fun morning to get to be with you, Murphy.
Have we run over the time here?
I think we're closing in on it, but I just always try to let our guests know, how much we appreciate you being with us, and God bless you for all that you've done,
y'all are very
with
kind.
high school
Thank
sports.
you. Thank you. Like I said, I've just been to the right place at the right time. And I know Brian, I don't know how many ball games you've done, Brian, but you wouldn't trade it for anything, would you?
No, you're right. But we're about to embark on 150 events between now and the end of May.
Wow.
So you put the 150 or so MTSU events together, that's 300.
Yeah.
And you average it out over the number of days, it's an average of one event per day that we'll produce live.
I'm sure. I'm sure. And that's why WGNS is so well thought of.
Amen.
And keeps winning trophies.
And these two guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're online and over the air as well, but I just hope people start tuning in. I've found now my morning ritual is WGNS, our news product that we're able to put out here as well. I think is second to none. And for Rutherford County, I think we're the number one. It seems like now as far as viewerships and shares and things like that when you go and look at other media that we have here in town.
Well, and thanks for making news for the last month.
I did make news for the last month. I don't know if it's always good. I forgot that's where that old 10%, believe about 10% of what they say, and you spend all this time. I spent 2 weeks getting the quotes right. It's just terrible. But
did you ever dream you'd be doing a radio show?
Absolutely not, sir. I've always speaking has not been my best. I'm just not I've been thrust into that point, but it's never been. Now, if you give me something of a topic I know, like police work and telling an incident happened before a jury, I think I could really tell a story well for that. But yourself
sounds
on
like another show, Brian.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
the names would have like Dragnet. The names have been changed.
Behind the badge.
Behind the badge.
That's the facts.
See, I need your help because Wayne's trying to get me to write a book. Those 10 best stories of a small town detective. But I got a great title and a hook for it, but it's writing that thing. I can't spell math, so it's tough. It's just tough. Guys, I hope you enjoyed our show, the Tuesday Morning Roundtable with Rick and Wayne. We had Murphy Fair with us today, and everybody have a great week and be careful out there. I think we got one more day that's bad heat, but hopefully it'll get out of here and I'm ready for some fall.
Amen.
But have a great week.
Subscribe to Big G TV, local content that matters to Rutherford County.